Hey everyone, welcome back to another Talon Tea video. Today I am bringing you the last in the Pu-erh sampler, the raw Pu-erh sampler at least, is the Bulang Old Tree Raw Pu-erh 2021 Vintage. Been a real fun journey trying all these Pu-erhs from Bana tea. Been all fantastic. Some I like more than others, but all of them have been great. Great teas, great company. I really appreciate everything they have. I will say these samplers are something special because some of these teas you cannot buy samples of on their site. You can only get some of the samples if you get the sampler pack. So otherwise, some of them are from quite pricey, aged and rare and specific cakes. So just a fair warning to you out there. If you're gonna try to find any of these, you might only be able to get these small amounts in sampler. But go into this tea 2021 vintage Bulang Old Tree Raw Pu'er tea. It is an autumn harvest, which I don't know if I've had any autumn harvests at this point. This might be my first one, honestly. I don't recall. Typically, most of the ones I have are spring. Not due to choice or anything. That's just happenstance. The ones I try end up being spring. Grade 1 through 3, Bulang Mountain, Yunnan Province, harvested and crafted in the fall of 2021. This cake maintains the same exceptional quality of its 2019 edition. It is made from trees about 300 years of age, resulting in a tea that offers rich and layered flavors. What sets this tea apart most from most young pu'ers is its texture. Not only is it remarkably smooth and full-bodied, but is also durable and has a delightfully sweet finish. So sounds pretty nice. I always like a nice thick texture on the tea. So we're just going to go straight into a dry smell, then I'll dump it in the gaiwan. I'll brew it according to their directions, which is starting with a wash at 195 and then continuing at that temp. So far, smell, it smells vegetal. It smells like a raw pu'er. It doesn't smell super strong. There is a little age on it at this point, not much. Let's try smelling it in the gaiwan and see if we get a little more. So far, the smell is very mellow, though. Yeah, not a whole lot to note from me, at least. Vegetal, smells like a raw pu'er. Not super fresh smelling. Obviously, it has a little age. It's not like some of these, let's see, like these ones, this One River tea I just got the other day. It's their 2025 raw pu'er. Like, those smell very fresh, like almost moist. It smells like, a pile of damp leaves. And that's why they say you should let tea sit for a bit to acclimate, especially when it's fresh, because it's still, not as tasty as you would want it to be when it's that fresh. You want it to kind of sit, acclimate, let off some of its humidity, dry out a bit, and then it's a little better to drink. Which, once it gets probably past like a year in age, it's basically full dried out. If you have like a really big cake, full dried out, ready to go. And then if you keep it in a container with like a Bovita pack, you can it regulates, like the inside and the outside will be about the same humidity, versus right now the middle of some of these cakes I have that are really fresh is probably really wet in comparison to the outside. I don't know. Long rant, but that's how it goes. But it's just part of aging raw pu'er. It's some places they'll keep it real humid and hot. It'll age a lot faster. And other places, they do what they call dry aging, or drier aging, where the climate might be drier, it might still be hot, but basically the benefit to this is more humid means it ages and gets color, and there's like microbes on the tea that age it faster. When it's drier, it kind of keeps more of its original tea flavor. All right, let's get a wet smell profile real quick. Kind of has like a sweet but astringent scent. Still a little vegetal, but definitely a good sweetness coming through. There's what the wash looks like, just to show you. A couple of leaves made it through, but overall, very clear looking. We'll go straight into that first steep. I think we will go for about 10 seconds, so once again, very quick. Still 195 Fahrenheit. I like to just kind of mix up the leaves a little. Give them a little zhuzh, you know. Frankly, that's probably long enough. And then if you're doing a raw pu'er, I mention it all the time, make sure you take the lid off. Raw pu'er, especially a fresher one, can still, you can scorch the leaves. Whereas some teas, like a show pu'er, like, keep that as hot as you want, it's fine. All right, looking at that liquid. Nice, beautiful orange color. Very clear. That leaf that made it through, but overall, you know, no specks, no dust, no cloudiness. Looks great. These leaves look pretty relatively whole, especially coming off of a cake. You know, sometimes picking it off a cake, sometimes if you aren't careful, you get a lot of little pieces, little bits, or if it's a very compressed cake sometimes. But let's get another smell on that real quick. Yeah, I get a little bit of, like, I feel a citrusy note, a bit of a stringent smell, or a smell that I associate with astringency, a bit of a vegetal scent. But yeah, I think that's about all I get. So it smells nice. Smells like a quintessential pu'er, you know, nothing crazy, nothing extreme or different about it, but there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes just a great pu'er that you know the taste of and you can always go back to is a great thing. I don't think I talked about price for this, but for a 100-gram cake is $27, and you can get a 5 cake tong for $128.50. So I think that's a very reasonable price for this tea from the sound of it. I haven't tried it yet, but $27 for a 100-gram cake is you know, a very good deal, I think. All right, we're gonna give this first steep a little taste real quick. It's very nice. Very they use the term smooth. I'd say that's apt here. It's very easy to drink. There's no bitterness, no astringency. It's currently not drying my mouth. It might later, but for now it isn't. There's a little bit of that, you know, that planty, leafy vibe for a fresh raw pu'er. It's not super strong, but it's definitely there. It's still, you know, a fresher raw pu'er for sure. 2021, it's 2025 now, so probably won't go away for another year or two at this point. There is a very nice full body on it, and it has a bit of that cooling sensation in the mouth at the end, which I very much like. It's very inviting, especially because I'm drinking a hot tea and it's Arizona, over 100 degrees out, so, you know. But I very much enjoy this one, and there is that with that huigan, the returning sweetness. Very easy to drink. A little bit of sweetness in there. Very nice. And really overall, the main predominant notes vegetal. It's not really floral, not really fruity. No bitterness. Very, like as I said, very easy to drink. So really solid, great price. Nothing crazy, but if you're real into just the general taste of a raw pu'er with a little bit of age on it, but still got a little bit of that vegetal freshness on it, it's pretty solid choice for sure. I definitely don't dislike it. This might be one, just because of the price, I'd be willing to pick up a cake or two, or, you know, 128 for a tong isn't horrendous either. If I drink through this and I think about it, maybe I'll get a tong. That's really not bad, and then you could let it sit around and age for a while yourself. But I think that's all I have to say on this one. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but very delicious, as all these Bana teas were. It's been a nice journey trying them all. I'll probably be moving on to some different raw pours next, maybe from Bitter Leaf Teas, their newest ones in 2025, and then from there I have some White 2 tea and some One River tea. So plenty on the horizon. So thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more tea content, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. All right, see ya.